What has your Sundance experience been like so far?
Good.
Has it been fun? Have you met anybody?
Yep, it was very fun.
Who'd you guys meet? You guys met people and didn't tell us?
No.
I just saw Alan sign his first autograph.
Whoa, yeah.
That was special.
Oh,
That was special.
yeah.
What inspired you to share this story?
So many different things. Really, the initial thrust of it, I started to write down a lot of memories that I have from when I was around Alan's age and growing up on a farm in Arkansas, and shape that into a narrative. And I just felt like at this time in my life, that's just what I was ready to do, to tell a story like this, something deeply personal.
And did it feel cathartic to share such a personal experience in this way?
For sure, like it never felt like there's a cathartic moment in telling the story, but I mean, just looking back at this year of making this film, it just feels like something really shifted in my own life doing this project. So yeah, some kind of catharsis. I don't know how to articulate it, but it's been big.
And for the rest of the cast, was there pressure at all knowing that you were sharing such a personal story?
I don't know exactly at the time how he's been through, so and I didn't have any pressure. I just played the role. I was the grandma for David, but actually him.
Yeah, I think this one was very amazing to experience. I think there's a pressure that we probably put on ourselves in general, but also having to see a generation prior to yours fully and not romantically or idealized from your angle. And to be able to do that was definitely humbling. But what was really wonderful was every single actor here was really engaged in the process, and it really felt like we were just living and they just happened to be filming, and that was really wonderful.
And so the movie's set in the 80s, but as you were making it, did you feel it had a renewed sense of relevance now?
Yeah, it's always interesting to like revisit something in the past and see how that echoes into the present, right? And I think we picked up on those things as to seeing how this older story of our parents' generation really fits with what's happening now, but also we're hoping that this will fit in a timeless way to other generations as well. So we were always kind of aiming for that end of it, to speak more to it being timeless, you know, transcending that sense of time.
So how did you guys explore the on-screen family dynamic?
It's weird because it's kind of natural, right? Like 가족 같이. Yeah, I think it's something that I think at the least it's not. At least Korean families, we talk about it. There's so many similarities. There's intrinsic individual differences, but I think there's something that maybe obviously every human can relate to. Just living for each other, and maybe the circumstances of this particular family were much more intense because they kind of had to make it. So. I think the casting was perfect.
Casting was perfect. Yeah,
the direction was really wonderful. Just bringing all the pieces together.
So something else we tried. I mean, this is a story about these guys moving to the middle of nowhere in Arkansas, and in a way, we kind of felt like that filming in Tulsa, where there weren't many productions at the time, and we would all spend a lot of time together in this house together, 1401. South Carson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we would hang out there and have our meals together, and that stuff, that was really important for this production, for all of us to like just feel like family.
Shout out to Ina.
And so how did the cast come together? How did you find the actors to play all these roles?
You know, our actors are coming from all over the globe. Ina Lee, a friend of mine, a producer in Korea, introduced me to Yeri and Yoon Ya-jung, and we hit it off while I was living in Korea last year. Steven and I, we're semi-related, and we share an agent, and he was the first to come on board after my agent had read the project and kind of connected us on this, that maybe you guys should work on this together. And then after they were in place, our wonderful casting director, Julia Kim, basically threw this wide net out all over the country to help us find these two. And Noel's coming from the East Coast in Virginia, and Alan's coming from Northern California. So, you know, it's an interesting process. It wasn't like one single place. We just somehow managed to find everyone.
Parasite has had such great box office success and has been a huge awards player. Do you hope that it's going to bring more attention in Hollywood for Korean films and Korean filmmakers?
That's an interesting question. Do you want to take it?
You can.
I think it. We're so hyped for Parasite. Director Bong is the best. I think this one. It would be remiss to not to mention the fact that this is in Korean language, but it's such a deeply American story, and I feel like this adds to the catalog of Americana. Hopefully, the language barrier is now kind of broken. Hopefully, the visual barriers are kind of broken. But I think what we set out to do was to make something very human and relatable to everybody. So awards would be great, but
Yeah.
it was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Parasite has done so much in terms of people are much better at reading subtitles and you know, watching films from other cultures. And I think what Stephen is saying is true. Like we want to go in another way with this film as well, in which this is a very American film.
And I don't know if you guys watched the Golden Globes. Bong Joon-ho was saying, you know, once you overcome this small barrier of subtitles, you'll be introduced to so many more films. Was there any pushback at all for the film to be subtitled?
Not at all. Actually, working with A24 and Plan B, what I love about those guys is that they are really always on the forefront, I feel, of pushing something new in cinema. And they were encouraging me, hey, let's make it more Korean, is what is the note I got from my first draft of the script. So working with Christina Oh and you know, refining the script with her, that was just so great, because she's also Korean American, and we wanted to do this right. And to do it right would mean that we have to make it a Korean language film.
Was it important for you for people to see this movie in theaters on the big screen?
For sure. Yeah.
Yes, we wish, of
Yeah.
course.
That would be the best.